Hello, everyone. I'm super excited today because we are diving into a conversation that I believe every woman and honestly every family needs to hear. With me, I have someone I truly admire who is Rashmi Rao, an ex investment banker and founder of Peaceful Investors. Rashmi, I welcome you to today's podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, whether you are a working woman, a homemaker, or someone who feels investing is just too complicated, please stay with us. We are going to simplify it for you. So, let's begin. The first part is about the mindset shift. So, Rashmi, let's start with your story. So, you were into investment banking, you are used to the high pressure, high stakes game. So, what made you leave that and focus on helping women?
Oh, so from the beginning, I was very interested in stock market, and I chose that field. So if I go back, way back, how it all started, started in my ninth grade somewhere, where I used to see those tiny little numbers in the newspaper and wonder what are these numbers really? Who would really, read through some thousands of numbers? So it took a very long time because these are times when we didn't have internet, Google to go and find out, right? So I learned wrong things. I unlearned. So it was a long journey. But that curiosity went on, and I just kept reading stuff, but it was never so serious. Then, post my graduation and after my MBA, it still was lingering in my mind. So finally, when I went to Mumbai, that's where everything opened up, and I realized what is my passion, what is my interest, and what is the field, and everything connected to stock market still. But after 20 years of doing all of this, I realized when we work in an investment bank, doesn't matter what function, whether you're in a hardcore investment banking professional, or you're a support function, or you're sitting and calculating P&Ls for the traders, or whatever you do, that knowledge is completely different. And when it comes to your own trading, your mind works like a monkey. So on one side, data is important, knowledge is important, but on the other side, for the mind, right, there is nothing called a book. We are our own book, so we need to dig inside and see why did I react like that, what really went wrong, and why. So if I look back of all the stupid mistakes I've done, if I now think, I would feel like how dumb was that, but when I made the decisions, it looked like it was one of the best decision. Right, many people would relate to it. So then I realized there's a whole new way of learning this. I learned through different institutes, different books, and many ways. But what really helped me is going through that the churning of what I should not have done, why I did this, or the patterns of learning myself. So for me, investing and trading is more like digging inside me, knowing myself, but it's like a self discovery. And now I can tell when people ask me questions, but when I was asking questions, there was nothing to tell. So mind has a lot of things to do. So my journey with my job and professionalism, I loved it as long as I did it, and it was quite challenging mentally as well as intellectually. But that is that. As long as I worked there and I got salary, it was all great. Why did I leave? For that question, I had some personal emergencies, which we can't avoid. As much as you want to work, there are times you just can't work. So there are few important stuff. It could be our own health issue or a physically you can't go to office, that kind of stuff. Or maybe there are some pressing things, like one is motherhood or taking care of elderly parents. So all of these come together. So that is when I had to take a call, and I don't regret, because the only reason I could take a call of leaving the most loved job that I was doing, and that was my identity till then. So the only reason I could do that is because I could fall back on something which I had learned over a period of time. So it was not like tomorrow I will learn and then it will start working. There was a long period of learning, and then I could decide, okay, I can do something on my own. The idea was not to replace salary. Initially, the idea was just to survive and make money. And then things shaped up, and it was a journey. We will discuss that later. So that's how this entire thing is. It is not as complicated as I explained, but I just wanted to tell this because many people go through this without knowing where to go and what to seek. And then we spend nearly 10-15 years and then realize I should have done this before. So that's why I wanted to just, tear it layer by layer and say, um, there are times we can't really work, you like it or not. That happened with me, and this is how I embraced it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that mindset actually plays a huge role. So, not only in trading, but in every aspect of life. So,
Absolutely.
it is not just about numbers. It is about confidence. It is about having a certain amount of clarity, having some self belief and self trust. So, when a woman shifts from, I can't to why not me, I think that magic happens, and it's not only for women; it is for anyone. So
Everyone,
it's
yes.
for anyone.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that. So now let's get into some practical steps. Okay. So
Sure.
if somebody is watching you now, but is still very nervous, where should one start? So can you give us certain pointers as to where someone can start so that they don't repeat the same mistakes what maybe me and you would have done in our in our early days.
Yeah, sure. So just like Kiran and I both share the same passion. So where do we start? Earlier was a big question, like I said, but right now we have many options to start learning somewhere. It's not really like bring your money and I'll tell you what to do. It's more to do with what do I want to do, first thing. And it may turn out that you will try two three things, two three mentors and two three sources, and after 6 months it may just strike that this suits me or this doesn't suit me. And for that one has to be just ready to give time. It's not like a whole lot of a decade, it's just about 3 to 6 months, not expecting anything, just learning. So learn from everywhere, learn from anywhere. But when it finally it feels like, okay, I understand the basics, hardcore basics, like simple things like what is a stock and how does it help me, as simple as that. Then what is a mutual fund, how does it help me? You don't have to go deep into all the accounting stuff and the what happens in the background, why this happens. It's not about the complex world out there, because nowadays the problem is you have too much information. Earlier the problem was there was too little information, but we have to strike a balance between how much can I digest, right? So even if there is plenty of food, there is only certain amount we can take. Beyond that, it is indigestion, and especially in finance, we should not allow that to happen, because then recovering that will become another issue, and then we will be lost, and that is why people give up also easily. So the first thing is to learn without expecting that magic happens, even though it will some point. Compounding magic will happen over a period of time. So I would say seek somebody whom you trust, or at least if you listen to somebody and you feel this person is making sense for what I want, simple things like that from any source, I mean. But just check the source. And one small disclaimer here: if someone comes and tells you join my WhatsApp group, I'll give you tips from morning till evening what to do, I would say please stay away from such such shortcuts,
Yes.
because there are no shortcuts. And when I say learning, And when I say learning, it doesn't mean we have to do PhD in finance. So as simple as today, I don't know what is a stock. Okay. I'll go and ask Kiran. Kiran will probably teach me or give me some links for learning. And then if it clarifies my doubt of what is the stock, what is the stock market, or what is the whatever the topic of discussion is, that's where we progress from. As simple as that. But getting loads of money and saying, okay, Kiran, okay, Rashmi, make magic, I think the approach should change. So, first thing is give it some time. It doesn't take a long time, it's like 3 to 6 months. Learn whatever that there is to learn. And if someone is saying you have to finish, let's say, module 1 to module 10, then it has to be done. It has to be tested like a homework of a kid, because now we are talking about money, right? So if I'm talking about a cooking video or something, the worst that can happen is the food can burn, or the worst that can happen is it will not taste like we want it to taste, right? But here in stock market, the worst that can happen is we'll lose money, and then that impacts the mind. The burning of whatever is in the kitchen will not impact my mind, but the burning of money impacts everybody in many different ways. And like Kiran said, the confidence goes down. So I would say initially, if you start, make sure your confidence doesn't go down. Get used to seeing profits. Even if it's 500 rupees profit, celebrate that. 2000 rupees profit, celebrate that. And that gives a chain reaction of, I know how to do this. If things go wrong, also, you will feel like, I know how to do this. I know whom to ask. If we are in that status, learning will be a great enjoyment as compared to the movies and the documentaries that show that trading and investing is dangerous. I don't agree with that. So we should start learning somewhere, irrespective of what the source is. And if we have basic question of I don't know how to open the demat account, seek somewhere where to find out. So once each of these questions connect to each other, it will be fantastic. It will be very fun oriented experience rather than stress.
Beautiful, Rashmi. Thank you so much. I would like to add to whatever you said is, not to aim for perfection. So, trading and investing both are a learnable skill. And one of my favorite principles is to balance risk with growth. So, start with safe instruments like what Rashmi said, and grow and expand or scale up as your knowledge grows. So, thank you very much, Rashmi. And I think as you rightly pointed out, community learning actually plays a big role. So I think that is where peaceful investors, of which Rashmi is the founder, comes into picture. So if you need any kind of help as far as learning is concerned, I think Rashmi is the person you should approach. And you'll find all the details in the description. We'll give the details. You can find us, you can get in touch with us. So moving on, Rashmi, let us have a very quick, bursting some three common fears. So let us
Sure.
do it as an alternate thing, wherein I'll ask you one question and you can give your viewpoint, and I will add my viewpoint, and let us see how it goes. Ready?
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the most common, fears what most of the people will have is, what if I lose money? So what do you have to say for that?
You will definitely lose money. Right? But I'm not scaring. So this ups and downs are part of the game. We have to accept it, right? Um, I would ask another question. People are so comfortable with the job, right? So the question is, what if I lose the job,
Yeah.
right? Not because, let's say, maybe because of economic conditions, you might be fired, but that's one side of it. I've gone through many things and also met many people where during COVID, uh, small businesses were shut down and no one planned for it, right? So what if I have to shut my business, small business, like let's say a beauty parlor, which women do generally because they have that experience or they have few friends put together. They started just like catering or whatever it is, right? There is risk there as well. Okay. And what if the products or the raw materials are perishable, then you can't really load, in your house. I'm talking about small businesses. Similarly, jobs. And if there is any health issue or if there is any catastrophic, god forbid, any accident or something. So in every area there is risk. But those things apart, when it comes to investing, people think that is the only risk, which is the biggest risk. It can be managed. There are rules, there are methods to manage that. So there is going to be loss, or there is going to be a dip in your profits, or your capital might suffer just about a little bit. So knowing that there is risk, like Kiran said, we should start small. And when we know that we can handle this, or I can digest this much of a risk, that is when we step ahead and take larger risk, because I'm able to take it. So maybe after one shop, somebody opens a next shop, or maybe someone leaves the country and tries something else. So these are all risks in real life, apart from investing and trading, right? But we take it as is. We just feel like this is part of life, chalega. That's the attitude. So similarly, in investment, we should know that there is risk. But that is why the first point is to learn initially. And just like Kiran said, the community factor is extremely important when it comes to risk management, because especially in this field, right, you don't have to learn only from your mistakes. Okay.
Yeah.
And if five people are in discussion in a room, you will learn that I should not do this because of what you learned from someone else. Or the other way around, if someone else does something good and you hear it and you feel like, okay, this is something I can implement, then you need not wait for like 10 years to learn it. You can learn it right away in that room and implement that idea and see how it works. So that way, mitigation of risk also happens in a community learning, which doesn't happen on a textbook learning, right? And also you can learn from others mistakes. So this grooming, hand holding, unknowingly, the mentoring happens just because you're in a group. But it's not like a WhatsApp group where, people just talk and we don't contribute. So if it's a one way thing, we will not learn much. But let's assume like-minded people are part of a group, then then, like I said, learning finance will become fun, because we will not have to wait for 10 years to learn from our own mistakes. So knowing that this is the risk, this happened in the past, or someone told me this would happen, let's say if market dips by 30%, or whatever the equation is, so we will be ready for it, and we will know that, okay, there are others in the boat who are traveling the same route. So I'm not the only one who is going to have this. So that all of this adds up to, that strengthening of initial fear. Everybody will have fear initially, even I had, right? But traveling through that alone was not needed, but that time I didn't know whom to reach, what to do. So that is that. And once we start small, let's say you just start with 5,000 investment. Even if the entire capital goes, you will not be shaken. But if you start with 5 lakh, the experience is different. That's why initially learning, then starting small, baby steps, doing homework, being with the community, actively participating, all of this is an experience. I would say there is risk, and managing that risk will come over time. And this also is a process of knowing myself. How do I react for a particular number of loss? How do I react when someone tells me that it's okay, you stay in an investment? And who is that someone? Do I trust that person? Is it that person who is my colleague who also doesn't know what to do, right? Is it some TV news where you cannot ask back question, you can only listen? It's a one way communication, right? So my question is, if you could make money just by knowing what to do, or knowing the knowledge of finance, then why don't we do PhD in finance? Does it guarantee money? I don't think so,
Correct.
right? Otherwise, all the PhDs will be millionaires today.
Mhm.
Which means this entire game has a different logic, and our job is to find what suits me.
Super. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Actually, when you were saying, I was thinking that, I normally, when I come across someone who says that, okay, this is very risky. So I tell them one simple thing. Actually, in today's world, no, crossing a road is more riskier than the financial market, isn't it?
And
So
that's well said, yeah.
yeah, so that is what it is. So we should see there is risk associated with everything. So it is
Everything.
not only in financial money, it's with everything. So how we learn on how to manage the risks in other aspects of life, we should also learn how to manage the risk when it comes to the financial game. And the second part is, see, everything, you cannot be just winning throughout. There will be losses, but what matters the most is how you manage it. Okay, how small you can make your losses is what I think makes the difference.
So
So
that, just closing that point, Kiran, thanks for bringing that, right? So just like Mr. Warren Buffett says, risk is not knowing what you do. And to add up to that, when risk happens, the stress happens, right? For early investors, stress is how we react to what happened. So
correct.
if these two are understood, right, again, it is smoothened. The experience is smoothened when you have a mentor and a community. So again, coming back to the same point of the way we learn, the kind of people we
Say that.
shake hands with, all this matters. And all of this have a decision making and choice associated with it. So not taking any risk, I think, is the biggest risk. So somewhere we should take the baby step and say that, okay, if I lose, it's okay, let me learn from it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on that, Rashmi. And the second fear is, most of the people what have is that, I don't understand charts or numbers. So what do you have to say to them?
Okay. So if a fifth grader can learn from both Kiran and me, how much difficult do you think it is? Right?
Exactly.
So see, charts, if you don't know what is in the background or what to see, obviously it's difficult, right? We both also learned from somewhere, or there was a point when we started just like everybody else. It's just a matter of practice. Another thing is, some people are digitally oriented, some people are number oriented, some people are visually oriented where they want to see the chart. Like, I cannot do without lines, numbers, and stuff like that. But once you make it simple, put a method to it, and then see, it's going to be fun. So you will want it more, probably. And when there's a meaning for a method, then the madness is solved. That's what I say generally. And if I'm doing something meaningless, obviously I should stop doing it. And if we are following something blindly without asking questions, stop doing it. Because if there's a method and a meaning for pursuing something, not just finance, you will enjoy that process, and it is not madness. And that is why when we do what we are passionate about, we'll not be tired. I'm sure, Kiran, if you discuss about this topic even at 3 o'clock in the morning, you will not be tired. We have seen.
Exactly. Exactly.
So simply things like this, small things like, is this meaningful, or is it just general knowledge? Is this method suitable for me? So this finance is very individual, as much as you can generalize it. In general, investment is for everybody. You have to invest for long term, that's true. But to get there, we should know ourselves. So when there's a meaning and a method, and obviously learning from the right source, charts, numbers, lines never become boring. In fact, it becomes more and more interesting.
Absolutely. It is like this, what I tell is, actually the chart speaks to us, provided we know the language. So it is just like that. So if you go to a foreign country and if you don't know a language, obviously the simplest of the sentences will, you will feel overwhelmed. But if you know the language, you will understand it. So similarly, the charts also speak. So it is up to us to learn the language so that we can interpret what it is trying to tell us. So it is as simple
Absolutely.
as that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And coming to the third fear, most people have is that I am too late to start. So what do you want to say about that?
But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, what is too late, we don't know. Let me get to a little serious topic. Some people may not like it, but it is a fact. The fact is, all of us have expiry date, just like any bottle of medicine, right? Now, we don't know when it is. That's the beauty of it, right? So now, those who say too late at 60, my question is, what if they live till 100? Well, you never know. And some people who just crossed 40 may feel too late, but there is 20 years to think, plan, execute. And Thankfully, investment doesn't need so much time. 6 months to a year, you will know what to do, what not to do, right? So this too late is an individual definition. Now, most of the time, it comes from comparing some A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, somebody whom we don't know, or when it is associated with emotions. Let's say your friend from your school took a home bigger than yours, and you feel you're too late, right? But that is not really true when it comes to age and lifespan. Finance has to be looked in terms of a lot of things like lifespan, cost of living, and my capacity to earn income. Is it enough? Is it, and also the lifestyle. So we can live in a luxurious home but not having enough to maintain that home also, or we can live in a decent, moderately good home but have loads of money to enjoy other things like holidays. So it's very individualistic. But what is late is the definition I would like to ask. But whatever it is, whether it is a just graduated person who is just going to get a job, or a person who is going to retire, from there to here, there is a lot that will happen in life. But after retirement, when there is no income, then what do we do is the question. It's not about too late. It's about what is my method and what how much do I know myself. Maybe I don't want to live in a city. I will move into a tier 2 city or a village or wherever I'm comfortable. The expenses will go down. And if I try to make some regular income from somewhere, doesn't matter where, then if basic things in life is taken care of, food, clothing, shelter, I would say, then if you can take a little bit of risk at whatever point of time from the right source, it is never too late to start. But if we don't start and keep saying it's late, then year on year we are going to be late anyways. So there are some safe investments, simply put, like example, large cap investments, where you cannot really say that this company will shut down. There are companies in India which have been there for 50 years, 100 years. So we have a lot of methods, we have a lot of ways in which we can start. But I don't want to give a disclaimer here that, okay, I said large caps, so go tomorrow. That's not correct. But what is late is something everybody has to answer. So these things especially happen when we are having a job, a regular income, and suddenly, like when I left the job for taking care of home, right? On one hand there is no regular income, on the other hand somebody told you that stock market is risky, so you'll be doubly sure that you should not do this, right? Whereas you should do it. That's the irony. Because if I don't start, then compounding will not happen. So for compounding to happen, there are many factors, with many factors associated. The most important factor is you should have money to put in there, and you should have time to keep
Right.
waiting, right? If time and money both don't work in our favor, then nothing works. Not just investment, even health doesn't work. So if we don't have emergency fund or insurance or health care, and we have already retired, then isn't it too late? Or you take care of your health so much that you don't need insurance. There are two ways of seeing it, right? But if we keep worrying about, I don't have good health, I don't have insurance, what to do? Maybe just start thinking of how to improve health. So too late is a very vague and generalized factor, right? But I would say uh, too late is when we don't invest and keep postponing that decision. See, not trading is a choice. If you don't want to trade in short term markets and all that, it's a personal choice. But if you don't know anything about investment and you're sitting on savings account and salary alone, then that is the biggest risk, and too late will happen very soon.
Thank you. Actually, it is like, I would also say that starting late means, that they are more intentional and more focused because they have realized that now, okay, it's a time for us to start. So, as Rashmi said, it's not late. You can start anytime. But the whole point here is to maintain that discipline and consistency. So start small and keep on scaling up as you get confidence over the skills what you develop. And one important thing what I would like to add to what Rashmi said was I like the fact when she said that we shouldn't be depending on anyone. In the sense, we should build the skills, learn the skills, what is required, implement it in a small way, like, something like a pilot project, get conviction on those skills. And once you have the conviction, automatically confidence comes and then you can scale up. So this is the way. So everybody has got their own, what you can say, there is no fixed recipe that it will work for everyone. Everyone is different, they have different risk appetites, they have different requirements, they have different goals. So based on that, they should choose something which suits their personality, their risk appetite, and it should match their goals, what they want to achieve. So this is the point what I would like to add on. So thank you, Rashmi, for sharing those thoughts. So coming to the close of this wonderful short podcast, Rashmi, what is that one message you want to leave the women with?
One message is take responsibility, and that is only for you. And let me just ask. So there are there was a report in Economic Times which says even now in India, when we are all not so illiterate, the pre-independent India was more like, women in the kitchen kind of thing. Though we saw some working, it was not so often. But if you go to cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, that is no longer true. Education wise, we are well educated, but still 82% of women do not take financial decisions. Okay, and it's not surprising because of the upbringing, because of the mindset, and whatever it is, right? So, in this entire journey that I also went through, um, I have a supporting family, all that is good. But many a times I have been asked, right? When you have support from the family, why do you want to work? Or why are you so ambitious? Uh, Especially true because if you are a mother who is leaving your child in a daycare, you will be asked, where are you working? You will be asked, where is your husband working? Or you will be asked, what does your father do? Or you will be asked, how much is your salary? Or you will be asked, is your child not missing you? I've faced all of this, okay? Maybe some are well intended questions or a well wisher asking you, or see that there is no straight answer what is right or what is wrong. Only that person individually can say what is right for their family. But my question to each family is, right, if the female, whether it's your sister or a mother, small thing, um, every mother has somewhere saved some money in the kitchen dabba, right? Initially my grandmother used to do that, and she used to give me pocket money for buying chocolates. So this has been there for generation. Women are smart in finances, and they do help their family members when there is a need or when there is some emergency and all that. So this is not a knowledge we don't have, okay? But somewhere we don't take the next step, that's all. And there is a need for education, there's a need for support system to be built. If someone loses money, or if someone loses even a family member to that matter, so financial community or a learning is not just confined to what is debit credit, yeah, and what is your bank balance. Beyond bank balance, you should have someone to talk to, you should have someone to have the trust, because money matters don't get spoken even in the male community, even within men, because there's always a superlative degree of what if they feel I'm inferior or less than them and all that. But once we cross that threshold, right, all of us are just same. Somewhere one is ahead in the game, one is behind, that's all, right? A 2 bhk or a 3 bhk, it is still a good shelter for us. But again, if that woman, whoever she is, progresses, wouldn't the family progress? Wouldn't the children benefit? Wouldn't your child have a better exposure of what to do next? Let me ask this question. Let's say your child is pursuing something, and suddenly after all the studies starts feeling like I want to do business, mummy daddy, okay, they say. And if you are financially confident, you will say go ahead, no problem, because you know how to generate income, and you will teach your next generation the same. They will be more confident, so it will go on generation to generation. Or let's say there is a spouse whose business is probably not working well. During COVID we saw a lot of all of this, right? But some of my students still were scared of investing because from 2008 to 2020, okay, The market had already moved so much that they felt like I'm late in the game. But in 2020, when they followed the method that was given and they simply put something there, some of them doubled their investment, some of their investments are at 400% return right now in 5 years. So my question is, if somebody had retired in at age 60 in 2020, 5 years later the person has seen 200% return in one or two stocks. What is late? Now, can women not do this? Because the decision making took only 10 minutes. Learning took maybe 3 months or probably less than that. But the decision of executing this took forever. So
Exactly.
when one person in the family progresses, doesn't matter what gender, generally females don't take this time. That's why it is just a reference to women. It's not like we are less or we are more. The reference point here is you can do a lot sitting at home. Simply put, okay, I'll ask some of you questions like, do you know which brand of tea you use? Maybe it's a Tata tea. Go find out what is that stock worth. Which two-wheeler do you use? Is it TVS or is it Eicher Motors? Go find out what investment would have been done. Some of them have made crores in 25 years time span. Okay. So what so when it comes to branding, which noodles do you eat? Which is the children's favorite? Maggie noodles. So Nestle is the company, right? If you invested in Nestle till now, for the last 15-20 years, you would have never seen a loss for a day in your PNL. And this is a personal experience. So there is so much of emotional and success stories connected to each stock. Every movie tells you the wrong information. Stock market is dangerous. Every other person who met you who made a loss in stock market doesn't have the right story to connect. So my point is, everybody who's at home who don't know what to do, find out how many brands you know and find out how much that stock is worth today had you invested 10 years back. Simple things like, what is, when you go to DMart, right? Find out what are the brands most people prefer to buy. Either it will be Reliance or it will be Tata or it will be Britannia biscuits, right? So these are the most successful investments in India, including the DMart stock. Okay, I'm not recommending anything here. What I'm trying to say, it is as simple as knowing what is my choice of brand today, what is it that I use, which bank do I trust in India. And today, wherever we are, you see how much progress is happening in India, right? 15 years later, if you have not invested in any of the Indian companies, I would say you have missed a lot, because we are a country who can't be ignored. In our country, educated population of all the children who are right now doing undergraduation will grow up to find a job. They will have demand for gargadi bungalow types, right? So our country will feed them. How do they feed them? Our companies should do well, the bottom line has to improve, the profit margin will improve. Now electronic gadgets will improve because every child who is born knows what is a mobile. My point is, before taking a mobile, if you know so much about Android and all that technology that is in there, including Apple and all that, then why don't you do the exactly same thing for how to invest? Right? If you want to take a mattress, you know everything about that mattress. If you want to take a shoe for running, you know everything about the mechanics of what is inside that shoe. Right? If you want to take a washing machine, ask any female, she'll say what is automatic, what is non-automatic, which powder you have to use, which liquid you should not use, everything. Then the knowledge is everywhere, just by talking to a friend when we go for a walk. Similarly, if the friend is the right friend, they will tell you how to invest also. But whoever says, whether I tell it or you hear it from a news, you have to do your own due diligence,
Research.
right? So my point is, how difficult is this? So if it is not difficult, and if I tell you, let's say 10 years later we all meet, right? I would I would actually tell you, if you invest in large caps, let's make it a rule, right? 10 years later, none of us will be in loss, major loss. I mean, one or two stocks might be not doing well or going sideways or whatever. So every Diwali we know what to buy, which car to buy, what is the brand of that car. When we can do this much of decision in our daily life, then just take 25% of your brain power, do it for learning about how to invest, where to invest. That's enough. You don't have to know any formula. I would say, if you have to start investing today, whatever be your age, The only knowledge you need is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So if you can do this much in your kitchen, I don't think you need any high level literature education. Hindi speaking, Gujarati, Kannada, Tamil, whatever is your mode of language, you can still do stock market. And to start this, you don't have to buy a land, machinery, plant. You just need one account from where you will invest. You need a little bit of cash to start, and you need somebody who can guide you, like Kiran, right? So that's all you need. You don't have to invest in real estate. I want to start an office. I want to hire someone. You don't have to hire anyone. Hire yourself. When you are doing this training, tell your family 1 hour, don't disturb me. I'm learning something important. Okay. And put a financial goal. That is, in 6 months, what do you want? Out of, let's say, 500 rupees or out of 1,000 rupees. So, my only point is, first, learn to see profits, then take bigger risk. First learn how to make it, obviously. Put the methods in place and do it. And not doing this, you will not even know what you're capable of. Like I told you, if you're a fifth grader, if you know addition, division, multiplication, and subtraction, I think you can ace in stock market. But if, and again, for the intellectual, the ones who are seeking adventure like me, uh, you don't have to define Monte Carlo simulation, option pricing, futures and forwards and stuff like that. To do that, there is a way of doing it and there's a method. And for such people, risk taking is a completely different discussion as compared to what we are talking here today. So if you want to trade, please contact Kiran and understand that just because we discussed about this, tomorrow don't do option trading
Yeah,
just by seeing TV. Um, Learn about it. But if you don't start, I would say you are going to miss a very interesting part of your life, especially with the Indian story that we are seeing how our economy is progressing. So don't miss this chance. Wherever, whatever time or whatever little, I would say if you can start with 500 rupees investment also, you're good. But don't like I said, if you progress, one last thing I'll say, if a mother progresses, right, her children automatically will learn from her. So tomorrow if there is no job, let's say because of some artificial intelligence, somebody is no longer needed. We used to do excel sheet reconciliation. Once upon a time we never had a reconciliation system. So system A, system B, we used to compare the numbers on an Excel sheet, reconcile it, then load it again, all manual. Today, that job is not at all there because it is all automated, right? So then either we have to adopt to new changes or we have to find something else I can do. So see, a samosa wala or a chai wala can do a lot of money as compared to corporate jobs. Or someone who is sitting at home and selling sari also can do a lot of money. Their methods is what matters. So if you can make money, some small money, even by taking tuitions to children or whatever it is, if that money can be invested, then you are already having somebody called stock market working for you, right? So your money is working for you while you're sleeping. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to sit. Let's say if you are investing in Reliance, you don't have to sit in Reliance. It's just going to make money as it progresses, right? So if it is so simple, then why not try the right way? And next time, if your child comes and says, "Mom, Dad, I want to start a business," you will not say no. You will allow them to take risk, and just because they will take risk and probably fail or succeed, whatever the result is, they will become a better person because you were able to say yes. If we also are so scared for taking the next step, we are going to teach the same thing without talking also. It's going to be just followed generation to generation without even teaching. That's scary, right? So let's take small risk. It is not going to be risk if you give it good time, and not doing this is a crime.
absolutely. Absolutely. So all I would like to add to what Rashmi said is take that small action, okay, which
Yes.
can actually change your financial future. So just go and open that Demat account, take a free masterclass, what is there. and or talk to someone who knows about investing and can guide you in the right way. So please do that. And Rashmi, I have this one particular statement what I share with my community members, which is, uh, if we become a good trader and an investor, inevitably we'll become a good human being. And vice versa is also true. If you are already a good human being, you have all the qualities required to become a good trader or an investor. Now, why I'm saying so is because for both investing and to lead a good life, I feel that we need four important skills, which is good decision making skills, good analytical skills, and knowing when to hold on to something, and knowing when to let go of something. So these are the four things. So if these four things, if you can adopt, or if you can, use in your day to day life, definitely you will become a better human being, right? Same thing, same skills you use in the financial markets, you will definitely become a good investor or a trader. It doesn't matter. The methods might be slightly varying, but the basics or the fundamentals remain the same. So thank you, Rashmi, for sharing all that in detail. I'm very sure a lot of people will be able to relate to it. So, if you want to know more, you can get in touch with any one of us. Our details will be there in the description below. We'll be very glad to share our learnings and share the methodologies what we adopt, which you can choose whether it suits you or not, and then start applying it. So that is, what I would like to convey. Thank you, Rashmi, for sharing your insightful thoughts. It was great talking to you, and we'd like to keep on doing such things wherein we'll talk about more specific subjects, so that we can add to the to the knowledge base of all our viewers.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And
Kiran, thanks for the opportunity and especially your time, for giving this. And maybe if there's a need for more interesting topics, people can put it in the comment and we can read it and probably keep doing short pieces like this, because whatever helps really, we both are really keen to give the right information, with the right approach. This has nothing to do with, whom we are choosing, and it's not a particular choice. So we have been thinking of this, but now that we did this, we want to hear what more can add value, so that we can prepare and produce it in the best possible manner.
thank you, Rashmi. Thank you so much. And it was great interacting. And to all our viewers, please do drop in your thoughts and comments. And we would love to respond to those and keep coming up with such interesting, videos, so that we can overcome this myth that, finances are actually very difficult or complicated. In reality, it is not.
It is
So,
not.
it is like this. I would like to add or conclude with this. um, you know um, if you understand human psychology, in other words, if you understand how a human behaves under certain situations or to a certain events, navigating the financial markets is like walk in the park. So if you understand human psychology, finance is not a big thing. Understanding financial markets is actually very easy. So
Right.
I would like to conclude on that note. And thank you, Rishmi, again for joining us. And
Thanks, Kiran.
we'll keep doing such things into the future. Thank you so much.